Ethiopia on Saturday hailed the return of precious artifacts looted by British soldiers more than 150 years ago. The collection recovered from Britain, Belgium and the Netherlands includes a ceremonial crown, an imperial shield, a set of silver-embossed horn-drinking cups, a handwritten prayer book, crosses and a necklace. Most of the items were plundered by the British Army after it defeated Emperor Theodosius II in the Battle of Magdala in 1868. Calls are now mounting in Africa for Western countries to return their colonial spoils, with so many prized national treasures held abroad in museums or sometimes private collections. Now, for a closer look at the historical value and the significance of these treasures, we're now joined on Zoom by Ethiopian-born scholar, Professor Mammo Muchie. Professor Muchie, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us and a warm welcome to the Globe.
Thank you very much. And as always, you are focusing on important matters.
It is indeed. It is indeed of national and continental importance. First of all, I want us to focus on what really triggered, the British to return some of these artifacts to Ethiopia.
I think, just to let you, to give you a background, there has always been a very strong demand from the Ethiopian side that all the treasures that have been taken, not just the Magdala one, there were many others that were taken. If you take the pharmaceutical industry, the Germans acknowledge that they have taken a lot. And the Italians have taken the Vatican. Even the Vatican still has not sent back all the things they have taken from the ancient Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The manuscripts were extraordinary. That knowledge the knowledge heritage is extraordinary. For example, in astronomy, there's a book called Abu Shakar, the ancient language of Ethiopia. We call it an African language, because in the ancient time, when this language is, and that alphabet was created, Ethiopia was Africa. I mean, it is our language. It must be our alphabet, and everyone says that alphabet is superior to. This is not what I said. It's Stephen Robinson, a professor from Stockholm, from Sweden. He said in the 2007, the second millennium of Ethiopia, he said both the Ethiopian calendar and he said the alphabet are superior to the Roman and Latin alphabet, because all the words, the alphabets express voices, any voice. No language, no alphabet has been created as it has been created in Africa, he said. In the same way about the calendar, he said, it's not Julian or Gregorian calendar. It is actually a calendar that combines, okay? He said, well, it combines like that in a very fascinating way, he said. So what we in Africa really have a problem is that our knowledge heritage is very rich. Our spiritual heritage is very rich. But we do not, and our philosophy, like our Ubuntu and everything, is very rich. And a lifesaver, it's a humanity savior, global humanity savior. Ideas have come from us, but we don't value them. We don't know them. Others have taken from them. They take our stuff and they say, we are only capable of knowing nothing except being superstitious and mystical. So they have been telling us like that, inferiorizing us, and we have now taken that inferiorization and we have not come back again, liberate ourselves, and really make a strong paradigm shift in our mindset to make sure that all these things that have been taken away from us have to be actually to be brought back. But the one on Magdala, Emperor Theodosius was an extraordinary emperor. I mean, he was a very African emperor, very, very strong, very patriotic and everything. And I am, forgive me, when I grew up, my family were very connected to the family of Emperor Theodros.
Okay.
The grandson is his name is called the Jamaj Kasa. Was a very good friend to my father. Was a regional governor, also my father. And when I was a young boy, I used to go to the home all the time. And then I say, why do you take me always to this house? He said, but you see, Emperor Theodros is your uncle. But explain to me how he is my uncle. He says, he's your uncle. What's the matter with you? Then about a few years ago, I went to America. We were celebrating the 150 years old of Emperor, and then I was one of the speakers. And Mashesha Kasa, he's the son of this the Jamaj Kasa. I stayed with him, and he told me many stories how I'm part of the family. So imagine he's part of my family. And I must tell you two points that are extraordinary. My father came when I was in England. I was teaching in England in a university there, and I brought my father. I went first to Jerusalem. There's an Ethiopian church. He did that, and then he came to England. Then I took him to the British Military Museum. You know what? There is a hair of Emperor Theodros. When he saw that, I swear to you, he got so upset. He felt as if he wanted to go to war against this. He says, why are these people so evil? How can they take his hair and put it like this and make money out of it? Why? Is this not? It's not a godly thing, he said. You can't separate the hair from the body.
Yes.
His body is in Ethiopia. His hair is in the British Museum. I'm angry. For 2 weeks, he was ill. He was sick. I was scared. I swear to you. I thought my father was going to die because he was very upset. Then,
Professor Muchie,
again,
it's so good to see that I'm actually speaking to the right person who is intimately connected to this issue. And I'm wondering, and I'm sure with so many other Africans and African scholars alike, they're wondering whether this will be the last consignment of artifacts to be repatriated from Britain, or is there still more? Because I understand that the Ethiopian government is still battling the British to return the other stolen artifacts, including sacred wood and stone tablets, which represent the Ark of the Covenant.
No, I completely agree with you. There's a lot of that was taken from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And it's not just what was. Remember what they were doing. When they were taking it, they didn't just take it. You know, those people who were in the government, the army, and took it to the British Museum. No, it was also. You know, there were a lot of people that got a chance to take it. Like they what do they do it with? You remember they almost make it like in a market, and they sold it. I mean, they got money out of it. They will say, take 200 pounds or 100 pounds. You can get like this. So that in private areas, in private homes, many of the this is a treasure. You must understand, Ethiopia has been a long memory, long history, thousands of years. There's a lot of treasure, knowledge on every sphere. I mean, sincerely speaking, in every aspect, architecture, many things like that. And so they have taken it. In fact, there should be serious research done where it is, and it should be identified and brought back again. It's going to be a long story. If we have to take it back, it's not going to be easy to get all of them back.
Indeed, and I do understand that Ethiopia is also seeking the the remains of Theodros' son, Prince Alemayehu, who was taken to Britain after the emperor committed suicide following his battlefield defeat. I mean, why would the British take the body of the emperor's son?
Yes, thank you for asking that question too. I must also tell you about my own father. I also took him to the place where Prince Alemayehu, they said, is buried. But the problem is, when you see in the burial, you see like a stone, that's erected stone.
Yes.
And say and it's just a stone you see. And they say and then the name of Prince Alemayehu written, and when my father saw that, he got, again, as I told you before, for almost 3 hours he started praying. Then the British guy who was looking after, he says, "This is not a rule. It's not our rule. Someone has to see and go because more people are coming." And then I tried to tell my father, they are complaining. My father didn't respond at all. He just ignored me, and he ignored the British guy too. Mm-hmm. Then after 3 hours, he said, "Why is your father doing this?" The Prince of Hanover, the Germans, didn't get the same treatment. This young son of Emperor Theodosius is buried where Queen Victoria is buried. And Queen Victoria used to also love him, he said. That's what he said to us. And then my father said, when is he going back to his country and buried where his father is also buried? He should not be here at all. Tell him like that, he said to me. I sincerely speaking, I was not able to tell that back to this. I didn't tell him. I simply said, my father just simply said, no, he should not be here. And the other thing he said, which is very, very important, why is it a little thing erected? Where I can't see where is he really there? He said to me. I swear to you. Okay. He said that, something like that. Just since you asked me this question, yes, I think the family and everyone wants to do that. Let me just tell you another person. In the Second World War, in the Italian War, there was another general called Haile Kabede, and he's the great grandfather for my 2 children that I have in England. You know what they did? In the Second World War, he fought them so hard, the Italians. What did they do? They used mustard gas, and they were able to
Professor Muchie, unfortunately we are out of time, but just briefly, what will happen to these artifacts? I mean, is there a deal being struck by Ethiopia and Britain in terms of monetary value, considering the accumulation of the value of these artifacts? Will the British pay the Ethiopians, or will the Ethiopians pay the British? I mean, what would happen now that the artifacts are already in Ethiopia? Will they be auctioned off or kept at a museum?
What we know that the British have done is that for Kenya, they have done some payment, reparation. Not a lot, but they have done that. If they did it for Kenya, why shouldn't they also do it for Ethiopia? So I think the Ethiopian government should ask reparation, not from them also, but also from what I said, from Italy. I just want to say to you about this man, Haile Kabede. You know what the Italians said? Yeah. How did he fight us like this? His head must be different. So they took his head. His head is in Italy, his body is in Ethiopia. Wow. We have something like that too. I just want to tell you this. Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. I wish we had more time because I'm quite interested to know the Ethiopian history, because I know that Ethiopia being one of the oldest countries with a very, very rich heritage and history. But unfortunately, we have to end it there, Professor Muchie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. But please help us also with what's going on in Ethiopia now. They are fighting us. The Western world is, I don't know, for whatever reason, they are siding with the rebel terrorist forces against Ethiopia, which is not fair. We in Africa are fighting. Ethiopia is fighting Africa. Africa and Ethiopia, good examples. So we all should join together. I'd like you to join together. All of us should be together. Save Ethiopia to save Africa. Otherwise, if Ethiopia goes on in a difficult breakdown, this should be an example to
Thank you so much for joining us, Professor.